10, 32 is the number on a gorgeous Sunday morning. Warm as out there and looks fantastic. So I hope whatever you're doing and whatever you've got planned works out well. You've heard me talk about what they call the four big killers on the road: speed, fatigue, drink driving and seatbelts. And I've always suggested that there should be another one called distracted driving or inattention. And I noticed this week that the court's starting to clamp down on motorists who cause accidents while they're texting or doing something else in the car rather than paying attention. Thought it'd be good to talk to Andrew Wiseman from Wiseman Lawyers, who are traffic law experts about this, just to see what the implications are. And Andrew joins us this morning. G'day, Andrew.
G'day, Chris.
How are you?
Yeah, good yourself?
Yeah, mate, I'm well. I thought this was interesting that this focus on inattention is finally starting to happen.
Yeah, look, just with regard to the article that you're referring to in the Courier Mail, I'm not sure if you've told your listeners about it or not. The issue of inattention was more of a not so much a defence, but it was the person who caused the death who was pushing that argument forward. And it was the Supreme Court who in that instance said, well, no, nice try, but that isn't the case in this instance. But the words of in the court handing down the judgment, there was quite a stiff message put out of the community that, as you said, inattention on the road through, playing with your phone, playing with your radio, etc., will not be tolerated, particularly in instances where it causes grievous bodily harm or death.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you said, that is a strong message, and as much as, in my opinion, it should go without saying, it is good that the courts are laying the hatchet down, so to speak.
Mate, there was a time when, dangerous driving causing death wasn't a mandatory charge even for people who are over 0.15 when they killed someone. So, I mean, it's all a progression, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot has changed in, the last 20 years or so, but, my opinion is, there's one thing making a mistake on the road that doesn't really cause any harm, which, as I said, someone gets behind the wheel, drink driving. Yes, it's a horrendously stupid thing to do, but if no one gets hurt and a lesson can be learned, the matter can be dealt with and you can move on. But regardless of whether there was a genuine error of judgment, gross recklessness, or, as this guy tried to put forth, momentary inattention, if someone loses a life, a price needs to be paid.
Yeah.
And, I think that's something that most of your listeners would agree with, and obviously that's something that the courts are of the opinion of. Yeah,
I think you're right, Andrew. Is there anybody, any jurisdiction that is trying to deal with this this whole issue of inattention legally?
Oh, look, I don't think there's any... Look, in my opinion, the laws as they stand now are sufficient.
Sufficient? Okay.
And I think the courts are, as this case shows, applying the law adequately. But as far as extra sort of efforts that governments may be making, as we discussed off air, the government in Queensland is running certain sort of campaigns to try and drill some sense into the consequences of inadequate behaviour on the road, whether it's inattention or otherwise.
Yep.
But if your listeners Google TAC, or specifically go to YouTube and type in TAC, the Transport Accident Commission, which is the Victorian government's department that takes care of the advertising and trying to get these messages out there, they've been operating for some 25 years, and they've got some very effective, in Victoria, television ads, but elsewhere YouTube videos. And if the Queensland government was to step up the efforts to the level that Victoria is, I think you'd see a drastic sort of reduction in, a lack of concern for other road users, which is basically what brings about these kind of incidences. As the court in this judgment stated, people are getting around like a driver's licence is a right, not a privilege.
Yes.
People have got to start, prior to things like this happening, people have got to start appreciating that privilege, along with other road users.
The other thing they've got to realise too, it seems to me, Andrew, is that what they're driving is a tonne plus of metal.
Yeah, and directly at another person.
Yeah.
And, I don't mean to keep harping on about the particular case that the Courier Mail reported on, but in that instance, we've got a motorcyclist doing the speed limit, doing everything right, and this guy, just because his mind's elsewhere, is pulled out in front of him, and bang, this guy's gone forever.
Yeah, killed instantly.
Yeah, just because, and the thing that riles me is, rather than just saying, yeah, I've stuffed up, do whatever you got to do, he started trying to blame the motorcyclist. Oh, he must have been speeding, he didn't have his headlight on.
Yeah.
But it was a 2005 motorbike, and headlights have been hardwired for some 15 years. Anyway, I won't go off on a tangent, but people have got to really start appreciating the privilege that they've got when Queensland Transport issues them that card.
Absolutely. Take me back to the Victorian thing, Andrew. What's the message they're pushing?
Well, they've got a whole... It's very aggressive marketing, and they basically cover every ambit, whether it's drink driving, inattention, even pedestrian behaviour. And look, when I was in the army years ago, I spent a bit of time in Victoria, and I was watching the TV, and an ad commenced, and at first instance, I assumed it was an ad for the new Holden Ute, because it was, the rock music, the guy driving down the highway having a bunch of fun and playing with his radio, and then bang, out of nowhere, a truck just sideswipes him, and then it becomes apparent that it's a road safety ad. But they're very effective in the way they deliver the message, and it really does bring the road toll down.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I think some of the road safety initiatives that have come out of Victoria have kind of led the way for many years, starting with drink driving, seatbelts, etc.
Well, that's right. There's one on Queensland television at the moment which it's quite graphic and creative and whatnot, but it's still got a bit of a lovey-dovey music. It doesn't have that shock value, and that is the only thing that really delivers with these kind of messages.
Do you reckon it works, the shock value?
I think it does. I know when I saw that ad that I just mentioned, it was stuck in my head for weeks. Just that bang. Oh, yeah, all right. Well, and every time you get in the car, you sort of pull your head in a bit, and sort of you don't just take it for granted, as the court pointed out.
Well, that's good. I mean, there are some quite effective ads around at the moment. I don't know whether you've seen the anti-smoking ads. There's a couple of those, with doctors dealing with lung cancer, for example, that are quite graphic and hopefully will put kids off smoking. Do we need to have ads that go that direction as well for driving?
Look, you've hit the nail on the head. That's the perfect sort of comparison, and I don't know much about that kind of thing, but I understand that those are federal government ads, so there's probably a different approach. But yeah, as I said, the shock value, if it's in your face, look, as you said, you're getting around in this 2-ton piece of metal. You're getting around like you know what you're doing. Prove it, and if you don't know what you're doing, the message needs to be sort of shoved in faces. We've spoken about the police attitudinal driving course that the police run at Cleveland before, and I keep reiterating, if that was something that someone was required to do prior to getting a licence as opposed to as a part of losing a licence, whilst that's a physical attendance course, if the messages that are conveyed at that seminar were somehow packaged into some kind of a media campaign, I think you'd get a lot of people thinking twice before driving inattentively. Yeah.
All right, mate, it's good to hear from you as always, because you deal with the people who are involved in these matters, and obviously you see what they go through, you see what their experiences are, you hear their stories, so it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, likewise, mate, and Happy New Year to you and your listeners.
Thanks, Andrew. Good to talk to you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Andrew Wiseman from Wiseman Lawyers. I don't know what you think about this emphasis that appears to be now starting to come from the court, that inattention is not going to be able to be used as any sort of excuse on the roads. 13 13 32 is our number. If you have a view, let us know.